Author and activist Salman Rushdie has spent a lifetime fighting for his work. First, living in fear for decades after the leader of Iran issued a fatwa against him in 1989 over his critically acclaimed novel, The Satanic Verses. Then 2 years ago, when Rushdie was attacked and nearly killed while giving an interview in New York, the attackers stabbed him more than a dozen times, ultimately causing the award-winning author to lose sight in one eye. In his new memoir, Knife, Meditations After an Attempted Murder, it's not only a personal recount of that day, but his personal journey of recovery that followed. And Salman Rushdie joins us now. Thank you so much for coming on the show and for writing this book.
Thank you.
Despite the title and the event that inspired it, this is a book about healing and in a way, a love story. And you told PBS it's the story of the knife attack, but you started to think of it in another way, a more metaphorical way, like language is kind of a knife. It's also a tool which you could use to cut through things to the truth. Could you bring us through how writing this book impacted you, helped you, brought you to where you are today?
Well, to begin with, it was very hard to write, especially the first chapter in which the actual details of the attack are given in great detail, kind of gory detail. That was very hard, emotionally difficult to write. Well, once I got past that, it got easier, and it kind of began to flow more smoothly. And I mean, people have asked me if it was kind of therapeutic. I wouldn't say exactly therapy, because I had therapy, you know. And my view is therapy is therapy, and writing is writing. You know? But what it did do is give me a feeling of taking control of the narrative. You know, of saying, making it mine, make my story that I'm telling in my way. And that felt good.
So, Salman, your story, telling your story, the difficulty, the degree of difficulty in recounting what happened to you, opening that door. You were at death's door.
Yes.
What was it like knowing that you could die? I mean, you were badly wounded, and knowing that you could die.
Yeah, I mean,
and then writing about it now.
I mean, I was fairly clear that I was going to die. I mean, when I was lying on the floor with, you know, blood pouring out of me, that was the thought that came to my mind. I thought, you know, this is probably it. And one of the things I wanted to try and show in this book, because as my editor said to me, not many people have a really near-death experience and then come back to tell the story.
Yeah.
You know, so could I please tell the story? And I thought one of the things that was interesting was what did not happen. There was nothing supernatural about it. There was no tunnel of light, no kind of feeling of lifting out of your body. None of that. In fact, I've rarely felt, I said in the book, I rarely felt so connected to my body. You know, it was a very physical experience and not at all metaphysical. So that confirmed my long-time godlessness.
Do you remember who, if anyone, you thought of, anyone close to you?
Yes. I mean, that was the worst bit, was feeling that I was dying far away from the people I loved, you know, and kind of in the company of strangers. It was a feeling of, I mean, loneliness. You know, it felt that here I am by myself in a strange place with strange people around me. And everybody I care about is far away. That was the worst part.
You and I have known each other a long time, and I remember knowing you when right after the fatwa, and you were always. I always thought of you as a person who would not, who was brave, and who did not. You know, you had security, but you didn't. You still did stuff. What you write when it happened, that you were like, it's caught up with me now. Can you talk a little bit about your trajectory with the fatwa and then what happened?
Well, the thing is, it started in 1989, as you know, and the next, I guess, almost 9 years were kind of maximum security period. But I mean, I came to live in New York City almost 25 years ago now. And I mean, for 23 of those 25 years, life was pretty normal. And I was living the kind of life that writers have. And I was doing book tours and readings and lectures and sitting at home for long periods of time writing. And it felt as if the trouble had passed. I mean, I genuinely did think that. And so when this man came out of the crowd and ran at me, I say in the book, it felt kind of anachronistic. You know, it felt like something happened, like a time warp. You know, like something from an earlier age cropping up in the present. And it was it was a real, obviously it was very unpleasant, but it was also very surprising. Yeah.
Salman, I'm going to try and make a linkage here, and I'm not sure if it works, certainly not up to your writing standards, but you are a writer who has frequently put his own life in danger for the cause of writing. We are in a position now in the States where a major literary award is being cancelled because half of the writers have withdrawn their submissions because of the war in Gaza. And I just wonder how you feel about that, what it tells you about the situation we're in the States at the moment, where everything is so hot and divided and angry. Yeah. That a literary award, and I don't know, maybe you feel that these are writers nobly standing up for the cause of Gaza and something needs to be done to put a spotlight on that human suffering, or maybe it's what are they doing, you know, this isn't actually going to help anyone and we need to carry on with our art and carry on with the process of writing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I understand a lot of the anger, but I think it's very sad that, I feel sorry for writers who've been nominated for these awards, I mean, many of whom could do with the money, frankly. You know, and I don't see. It's one thing to be. It's legitimate to say that PEN America has not spoken up as it should, and to be protesting about that. That's everybody has that right to protest. But I don't see why, you know, writers from around the country nominated for prestigious prizes, why they should be made the kind of fall guys for this, and that's sad.
The new book is entitled Knife: Meditations After an Attempted Murder. Salman Rushdie, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning, and thank you for writing the book. We appreciate it.